Hey guys, welcome to a fresh video here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to discuss Matty Oise. This is a story that's been bubbling over the course of the last, I would say 2 months. We are aware that really the only fact of the matter at the time of filming this is that Matty Oise has not signed a contract extension. And as it stands right now, we do not know whether or not he will be at the Carlton Football Club in 2025. Most, if not everything about this particular story is speculation. So there's 3 pieces of footage that I want to refer to. So there was a conversation with Sammy Edmund on the 28th of August where he referenced what he believed to be the details around Matty Oise.
So this is what you told us yesterday in the set of players who has to wait it out for the moment.
So this has been various other Carlton players in recent times. So it just is his turn. I still think the more likely outcome is that he stays. Maybe with the Camberelli twins, maybe just coming back a peg or two in the draft reckoning. They won't be the high bids that might squeeze. I'd like to think he stays. He's going to be nervous wait until he does. And his preference overwhelmingly is to stay there.
When that happened, I thought that made a bit of sense. You know, if I'm his manager, I might be telling him, wait till the end of the year, nothing out of the ordinary, makes sense, get the most value and move on from there. Then on the 11th of September, only a few days ago, we saw Cal Toomey on Gettable, and he made mention of the fact that Matty Oise, who is still without an offer, he wants to stay, but he's going to be forced to look around now. His 33 goals this year are the most by a Carlton small forward since Jeff Garlett in 2013. So that was interesting. That's probably the first time I saw any footage where I thought, wow, is he actually leaving? Are we actually going to be parting ways with Matty Oise? And then today, Friday, the 13th of September, we saw a conversation on SEN with Mitch Cleary, Kane Corns, and David King.
Matty Oise has kicked the 3rd most goals at the Blues this year and still no contract offer, so we'll see what develops today. But
so who's driving that? The Owies one I can't wrap my head around. I would have thought he's the best of the Blues small forwards. They need another couple, you would think. Is he driving that, or is the club?
It's more the club from where I sit.
Right.
So I think he's keen to stick around, but I think he's now getting his head around the potential of leaving and looking at a few other options, Matty Oise.
Why is that, though? What's the sticking point there? It surely can't be on-field performance.
You go to other clubs and you ask why, and they get the sense that are the Blues working on something else. So is it to open up money for Houston? At the start of the year, they didn't come hard because of the Haywood situation. There's just a few balls in the air around the Blues at the moment. I think in an ideal world, they'll keep him, but they're just working through a few contract decisions on other blokes.
So amongst all the chatter, it can be really difficult to decipher what's real and what's not real. As I said at the start of the video, the fact is that he has not signed a contract that will keep him at the club until whenever. So until that's done, it hasn't happened. I'd like to think Matty Oise is one of the more, well, he has been the most consistent small forward that we've had for the year. 33 goals. I think every year he's been at the club, he has shown, a level of improvement. And, 33 goals is a career high. It's also the highest goal tally for a small forward for the Blues this year. Kicked 3 goals on 6 occasions this year. And I thought he had a really good season. So part of me says, you know what? Keep persisting with him. It's not like he's too old. He's a smart forward. He's a professional. He's available. And that's the story that is very important for Carlton at the moment. Availability and durability. I think he's certainly that. The game that he missed was ultimately the elimination final, and that was through suspension. And so there's that. Then there's the other side that thinks about, okay, well, is this the time to cash in? And if he hasn't signed a contract, and there hasn't really been too many links to other clubs, generally speaking, at this time of year, it's really easy to hear about or see or read a link for a player to another club, but we haven't seen too many of those instances with Matty Oise. So does that mean that from the Owies camp, he has not indicated in any way that he wants to leave, or is it just a coincidence that we haven't had too many links? So there's that. There's also the part that makes me think, are we waiting to see what happens in trade period? Matty Oise ultimately is someone that now has value for opposition clubs. We did a bit of a breakdown on his numbers and the amount of goals that he kicked. And, he would be top 3 or better at most clubs. At some clubs, he would actually be there, in their top 2 leading goal kickers. So there's that. He has currency. He has value. It's wild that we're talking about the need for a small forward when we've got one that's showing considerable improvement every year. So is he part of a deal that we're looking to get done? I know the Dan Houston thing's getting floated around. I might be wrong. I just would be shocked if we did a deal for Dan Houston and paid, first round picks and the like. And, I can only assume the asking price for Dan Houston from Port would be at the bare minimum 1, if not 2 first rounders. But if there's a player involved, does that offset that trade and that negotiation? Maybe. So where am I left right now? I'm left thinking he hasn't been offered a deal. Surely they would have done it by now. Exit interview would have happened today. What's the conversation like at the exit interview? Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses. Have they told him, look, we're going to wait to see what happens in trade period. You're free to look elsewhere. By the reports from these journos, it seems like he may have been indicated to that the club would be looking at potential scenarios. And if nothing eventuates, he signs a deal and away we go. A 1-year deal, a 2-year deal. I would have thought, you reward what you value. Is he available? Yes. Is he consistent? Well, he's the most consistent small forward that we do have on the list. Does the basics right. Shows a level of improvement. And so I think, do you reward that? Yes. Or do you use that to your advantage and you say, you know what, we've got Durds, we've got Motlop, we've got Zach Williams now playing in the forward line. Maybe this is the time to, trade it all in and see what we can get. So I don't know. I like him. I think players like that are hard to develop. And I think he's one of the few really good, genuine development stories that the club's had in a long time. Coming from the Category B rookie days, basketballer turned footballer. And so, I like him. I think we all like him. But if there's something that can be done to better the team, then obviously you've got to look at it. So I pose the question to you. What do you think about the Matty Oise situation? And what do you think goes into the exit meeting conversation as he's sitting there today and they're saying X, Y, and Z? Like, what do you think happens in that meeting? What do you think he said? Share with us in the comments below and we'll go from there.